first of all, that's an experience. You want to try and be a guest on Fox News sometime. You sit in a little room staring at a black wall, and you have a little ear plug in your ear. You can hear the questions with a little bit of a lag coming over, and you try to answer something that's a fairly hostile setup question to begin with. But be able to talk about what we can do through examination, a deliberate examination of the law and the policies and how it's impacting and looking at the data. If we can get our prosecutors to do that, to look at what are we accomplishing by doing this line of prosecution work. Besides the marijuana possession cases, there were the driving while license suspended in third degree. Those are cases that constitute something like 38% of the business of the Seattle Municipal Court. So why are we doing this? This driving while poor, at a time when we were also trying to deal with our budgets, that we were cutting whole departments in the municipal court. We were cutting prosecutors and to be spending money on programs like that was just so inimical to the notion that we're supposed to be furthering public safety and rather than further burdening our populace. And so I got to tell you, there's lots of low-hanging fruit. Police reform is alive and well as a topic of the city. It's something that I'm front and center. It's a challenge, and there are so many things that we can do in our legislature if we can continue to push them. But it was back in 2011, in response to this, to the shooting of John T. Williams, that I had said that we need to remove these subjective elements from the law enforcement defense. That malice and good faith, those are things that they're the reasons that prosecutors never can bring charges in the first instance, much less saying, why don't we just take this to a jury. I think that we can do that in a way that recognizes the difficult circumstances in which dedicated police officers have to perform their duty, and yet hold them accountable when they cross the line. There's no doubt in my mind that the John T. Williams shooting was one of those examples, and yet here we are 5 years later, we still haven't fixed the law that is the most progressive in the country. So I think that 873 is a wonderful way of making being the conscience or the backbone for the legislature to push them. There's a task force. I should probably wrap up at this point, but to point out that Kelly Harris, who is my criminal division chief, is our representative on the task force created by the legislature to look at this. In the meantime, to have the citizens initiative, much like we did with 502, we couldn't get the legislature to legalize and regulate marijuana. It took the initiative, the voters, to show them the way. It took the voters to lead. And the same thing here. My hope is that 873 will force this discussion, one that they have ignored for at least the last 5 years that I've been focused on it. And I think that whether you get the signatures you need or not, I think that just showing them that the citizens are watching and they're taking actions and not waiting any longer is a really wonderful move. I think it's going to contribute to the evolution of the law in Washington State. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of how, if you're wondering where I am, I'm fairly open about where I feel about these things, how I feel about those things, and where I stand on these issues. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And I did bring, for Andre, I gave him copies of some of the correspondence that described what I was talking about in connection with the John T. Williams shooting. So the one thing that I did ask is that, of course, in connection with the death of his brother, I still have to wear the hat as the city attorney as well, and there's a lot more to be examined and dealt with in this case. And so there's going to be things that I can't talk about in connection with that investigation or how that's going to unfold. But again, I'm here as your city attorney. I'm here to listen. I'm here to also answer any questions. And I think it's important that you know where I stand on these issues.
I've got a lot of questions. And
Charlotte and I go way back.
Yeah.
We talk about the bodies exhibit, and one of the first, we've taken on so many, there's so much low hanging fruit about. Anyway, thanks, Charlotte.
And I want maybe to ask you in general, if you can, regarding Jay Taylor shooting. You can see by the example we laid, first and foremost, and just generally speaking, this is kind of reviewing a lot of police procedures in the force. We all know the police department's been under the consent decree. What can your office do? Because my understanding is the city attorney's office is not only to represent the city, but the people of the city. What can your office do in regards to, say, helping create independent investigations, requesting things from the police union, and essentially what technically legally is empowered your office to do?
Call that a softball, because
I got some hard ones too.
every day, I look at this, it's not simply you defend it at all costs. One of the first things I did that I think helps us along the way, and again, my first year in office, I inherited a situation where my predecessors had exported the responsibility for defending 1983 actions. That's the federal statute under which we can bring, citizens can assert the violation of their civil liberties, civil rights, in connection with law enforcement activity, and seek damages, to include the damages in the federal court. So that's, I think, probably most of you are familiar with that. Under my predecessors, every time a lawsuit was filed against a Seattle police officer, they immediately went to a private law firm, to a single private law firm that had a no-bid, non-competitive, exclusive contract. And I terminated that contract. I said that we need to bring that work in-house. We still use outside counsel, we have conflicts or other issues like that. But we need to be learning from these cases, number one. And number two, there was an approach which some in the legal profession, private law firms especially, will say is a philosophy of defending, which is called simply the pound sand mentality, where you concede nothing and you litigate to the for instance, the John Lewis case, we won't get into a discussion of analysis of the damages in that case, but it will take your breath away as lawyers and accountants and so forth start to discuss the value of human life. But nonetheless, wearing that hat, as you said, representing the people as well as the city, to me, they're one and the same. If you have a police department that is not being held accountable, it's going to cost your treasury money. If you're just focused on the bottom line, if you're just focused on what does the judgment claims firm say today, then you're going to, I think, miss the bigger picture, and at the end of the day, you're going to be ultimately spending a lot more money. So it just so happens that racism is expensive. It just so happens that a poorly managed police department is expensive. And to me, it's pretty straightforward. Perhaps that's the civil lawyer, the business lawyer coming at it and saying, we need to do justice, but even if you look at it, even if you're one of the most coldly calculating, just show me the bottom line, it's expensive to do things, to take the shortcuts, to do things the wrong way.
John T. Williamson was shot in 2010. We had a consent decree in 2012. Here it is, 2016. We've had two significant cases. Cynthia Whitlatch arresting a gentleman just for pulling a golf cart. Chase Taylor shooting, and several other instances. I kind of get the feeling I want to ask you in general, are these officers getting the memo? Because we have officers who are challenging the use of force. I'm concerned as a citizen because I'm seeing these cases over and over, and I'm truly feeling like, having worked also with police officers, that there's still a wall, that we still need to review our police officers for racial bias, and that there's a climate in each precinct, and it's only become more and more disturbing. And I'm just giving my perspective from the recent review for the North Precinct, the stickers, to claims and all the armament and all of that is, have things improved? You have a perspective of the police department, the police union. Can you give us some indication that things are improving, that these officers are getting the memo? That
It's a mixed bag. If you were able to hear my comments to Judge Robart on August 15th, was the last status conference, I tried to give him the 30,000 foot appraisal, and it was a mixed message. There's a lot of things we're doing well. It's actually exciting to see the crisis management work that's being done. It's nothing short of exciting. If you listen to Sergeant Dan Nelson describe how these teams are being trained, those are really some good stories. And so I want you to keep in mind, Artie,
Outstanding, I'm really proud of